I think there are a lot of kids who are growing up in Fortnite world and spend a lot, and I think the pandemic really accelerated this. What if you spend your entire life, from the time you're a little kid, interacting with screens? What if there's a world where you actually can be, and everybody sees you the way you want to be seen?
It's as long as it can become indistinguishable from reality, which it will be able to be. That's a paddle. Like, get the fuck out of here with that stupid game.
And the AI is getting better and better in terms of being able to imitate human behavior, in terms of being able to innovate on its own. No, I think then the barbarians come to the gate. You're going to have a good time in the virtual reality, and then there are going to be no babies to carry this on.
Your life is completely, you've invested it completely in this augmented world, this virtual world.
What happens to you as a civilization? I think I'm amazed at the level of conditioning, like super duper adaptable.
Yeah.
And the experience machine is basically VR. But what if everybody you know is in that experience machine?
It was crazy. Some dude threw some semen up at me, I think. Yeah. Like in that movie, Silence of the Lambs. Yeah.
One of the nice things about these shows that we do is that no one knows who's going to be on them.
I don't know if it was real or not.
Well, it could be a surprise. You were surprised last night. I mean, the guy locked in the cell. And we got video of it.
I batted it down. I respected it. But yeah, that was awesome, man.
He says, what if there was a machine where you could plug into it, you'd feel the illusion of choice, you'd feel as though your choices had some sort of significance, and it would give you the dopamine hit that you get in regular life. Would you plug into it or would you not?
Right.
And his theory was you wouldn't plug into it because you still want to feel like your life has real-world consequences. But what if everybody you know is in that experience machine? Then you're the one who gets left out if you're not.
Yeah, it's been crazy because I've been doing it since I was 11. And
really?
Yeah, so now I'm 23, and so it's just like basically every year it's just gotten crazier and crazier. And I used to make $1 a day back. Well, the first few years I wasn't even making money off YouTube, but once I started making money, I was making $1 a day. And I saved up for a couple months. I bought a microphone, saved up for half a year. I got a computer, and I've just always reinvested it. And so it's like literally just all. I mean, I was like as awkward as they came. No money, no nothing, and I just basically just obsessed over YouTube every day for a decade.
When you get challenged by someone who's a guy like a Jake Paul, does that piss you off? Is it part of it that's just like
No, it doesn't. I think it's awesome.
You think it's awesome?
Yeah, I think it'll piss me off. I think it's cool.
You think it's cool? That's awesome. That's awesome that you handle it that way.
They just want to be connected.
Yeah.
So, and now we're removed 70 to 80 years from the facts. It has been painful to try to use real science, real investigative tools to try to sift through this lore, you know?
What do you think happened? I mean, you've been studying this for how long now?
3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
If you had a guess, if you had like $1 million, you got to put it on one side or another. Did he go there?
Yeah.
Whoa. Jesus Christ.
I would say, man, that's the first time I've ever said it flat out like that. What I want to say is the way history is written is wrong. That's clear. There's no way that we can say he died on this day.
I'm going to go with the fact that there's a Y chromosome in every cell of that person's body, except, ironically, for some of his sperm cells to tell me that that's probably a boy. But if you're telling me any boy can be a girl, no. And that's not biologically correct, and you're not doing any sort of service to a child, especially evidenceless. I mean, you're doing no service to a child by humoring what is obviously a mental condition. And a mental condition, by the way, again, linked 40% lifetime suicide rate is higher than any other population on planet Earth by a whopping margin. I mean, telling kids that we are going to force you into like you express when you're 5, that you think you're the opposite sex, and now at 8 we're going to transition you into this, and your suicide rate is exactly the same as somebody who didn't do that, right? Or it's very similar to somebody who didn't do that, and like this is somehow supposed to benefit the person. It's beyond imagination to me. I think it's cruelty.
There was a dude, they found alligator in his apartment.
Listen, alligator. No, that's not what happened. This is what they had in New York, right?
Yes, in New York.
He had an alligator in the bathtub,
right.
And he had a tiger.
Yes.
And they started, stupid. Listen to this. No, you have to listen. You gonna listen to this?
Yes, please.
He thought he was somebody's false parent.
Oh.
Yeah. So hunting Hitler.
Are there any legitimate eyewitness accounts of Hitler in South America? or potentially legitimate.
Absolutely, potentially.
Whoa.
Yep. Eyewitness accounts. I saw him get off a boat. I saw him meet here. And if it was just some person saying it, it's almost meaningless.
Right.
But if you look at the context of who this person is, the wealth that they have that they shouldn't have, like, can you explain how you got so rich in 2 generations? You know, like, okay, your grandpa got here from Germany in 1946. That's weird. And he's on a legitimate visa with an Argentinian passport. Also weird. And now he's a war refugee that's now worth millions of dollars.
What if you spend your entire life, from the time you're a little kid, interacting with screens? What if those screens are getting increasingly sophisticated so that they are interacting with you in ways that humans would? What if you get to be whatever, like, we're a society, we were just talking about this, where you get to be whatever you want to be? What if there's a world where you actually can be and everybody sees you the way you want to be seen? Would you rather live there where you're like rich and good looking and everybody likes you? Or would you rather live in the real world where you're disconnected from all of that and you end up with like Ready Player One world? I think
it's going to happen. It's as long as it can become indistinguishable from reality, which it will be able to be.
I think very three-dimensionally. I don't think in the black and white lines that I've been programmed to think in. And I think in full color. So when I talk, I have to describe a thought in 5 ways. So when I talk, it's not a rant, it's a symphony of ideas.
I think it's one of the bridges that we all could use between conservative thought and liberal thought, particularly for people that are dying. It's one of the things that Johns Hopkins found, and so there's been other studies done, and there's been therapy done on people that are dying of terminal diseases, and they give them psilocybin. Mm-hmm. And when they give them these mushroom trips, they have these beautiful experiences where they completely accept death, and it's almost a universal reaction to it. That like the amount of people who still experience a positive benefit months and months after the experience while they're dying, that they say this was an incredibly moving and powerful moment in my life that allowed me to accept the fact that my time here is done.
Mm-hmm. It's like, because she's a woman. Like, if she were a man, she'd get her ass kicked. And everyone was like, no, how dare you? Right. There is something called the universal tennis ranking. She would rank in the mid-ranks of college male players if she were a man. And Serena Williams had said like 5 years ago, no, I never want to play with like Andy Roddick. He'd kill me. She actually did this. There was a 200th ranked man in the world who she wanted to just warm up with. And they played a normal match for, he won 6-1, 6-0. Right, and he was like ranked 200th in the world, and the only shock was that he dropped a point to her.
Well, there was the issue of Renee Richards when Renee Richards started playing tennis against women and kicking their ass, and he was a middling player at best as a woman, or as a man rather, but as a woman, he was a fucking killer.
I mean, this is what should insult feminists. It turns out that Caitlyn Jenner won all these Hero of the Year awards and everything. We men are so great that even when we decide to be women, we're better than women.
That was the most bizarre thing.